Good morning, UTLA family, students, educators, and parents who are joining us today, Friday, September 11th. Let's never forget what happened in 2001. Every week of this pandemic, it seems like another existential challenge is thrown at us. This time is another wave of devastating fires. As the Santa Ana winds pick up, so do the chances of another fire. The skies have a hazy orange hue, and my heart goes out to our UTLA families and extended ones as well. I am a native Californian through and through, and it is rough to see families fleeing their homes, Joshua trees and pine forests burn, and see the anguish on the faces of families who have lost everything. Our state has always been disaster prone, but it's undeniable that these fires have been boosted by climate change, which is helping create the extreme conditions for wildfires to burn more intensely and spread more rapidly. For those of you who have been affected by the wildfires, CTA, California Teachers Association, is ready to help. The CTA Disaster Relief Fund provides financial assistance grants for CTA members who have suffered significant losses from fires and other disasters. These funds have been made available through voluntary contributions from CTA members and through CTA fundraising drives throughout the year. The fund is administered by CTA Member Benefits, and it will be listed in the chat below. I hope everyone out there remains safe. So let's get into the updates. For this session, I will be talking about why we must campaign for Proposition 15, win the 2 school board seats for Patty and Scott, an update on special ed and other crisis distance learning issues. And listen, I know how hard everyone is working to meet your students' needs this semester, and how hard it is to look far into the future when you're just trying to get through the day. But because of decades of underfunding of our schools and communities, there is yet another disaster looming that we will have to get in front of, or we'll all pay for it big time. Because of the pandemic and economic downturn, K through 12 education in California faces a $20 billion yearly shortfall. It's a much larger deficit than we faced during the Great Recession of 2008 and 10 that led to thousands of teacher-educator layoffs in Los Angeles. The only reason why we're not threatened by massive cuts now is that the legislature kicked the can down the road until next school year, which only makes the deficit that much greater. So bottom line, unless the state receives a massive influx of new revenue from the federal government or new state taxes, thousands of us will get layoff notices this March. I say this not to scare anyone, but to prepare us for the fight of our lives. The first round of that fight is this November, when the Schools and Communities First initiative, Proposition 15, is on the California ballot. If it passes, schools and community services will receive roughly $12 billion a year. It is not nearly enough to cover the deficit, but it is a start. From there, we can move on to building support for other revenue-enhancing legislation this winter and spring. The problem is that Prop 15 is hardly a slam dunk. Big businesses are going all out to defeat it. Unless our members fully commit to not only vote for it, but to campaign for it, it might not pass. Following up on our citywide chapter chair meeting, I urge every chapter to enlist every member to do everything possible to get out the vote for Proposition 15, as well as for UTLA supported school board candidates. UTLA is holding phone banks every Thursday through Sunday. We've got some great folks already stepping up. Teachers like Jasmine Chan, a first-time phone banker, who said this: "Getting our message out to as many people as possible will truly be the most effective way for us to advocate for what we know our students deserve. Phone banking allows us to take control and to secure votes for a cause that not only helps our students and educators, but makes sure that corporations pay their fair share when they are profiting off of all of our hard work. I am phone banking so that when we win, people will know that teachers are a force to be reckoned with. Let's get on the phone and fight for public education, what public education deserves." Thank you, Jasmine, for your inspiring words. Join Jasmine and myself. I've already committed to 5 phone banks a week. Join me by signing up at lateacherschoice.org/#campaign-now to campaign for Proposition 15 and our school board candidates. We'll also put the link in the comments below. Also, when you contact parents, don't forget to ask them if they know about Proposition 15 and would be willing to receive more information about it. We'll share some good links for more info in the comments below. Remember, Proposition 15 is not just about tax fairness. It is about the very survival of public education. We know the billionaires funnel millions of dollars into funding the opposition, so they don't have to pay their fair share. Check out these helpful facts about Proposition 15 and ways to talk to others to debunk the smear campaign. The impact of phone banking during this election cannot be overstated. The more voters we reach, the greater our chances are to win. We will win by talking to voters about the candidates that will defend our schools. Scott Schmerlson in District 3 and Patty Castellanos in District 7. What are the next key steps? Sign the online pledge and commit to vote for Proposition 15. Join your school's team for phone banking from home for 4 hours in September and 4 hours in October, or you can split them up. Talk to your chapter chair or sign up again at lateacherschoice.org/campaign-now. If you're in Board District 3 or Board District 7, commit to vote for Scott Schmerlson or Patricia Castellanos and let your chapter chair know that. Next, let's talk about some updates on crisis distance learning and supporting our special education students. As special education teacher Lisa Bennett says, brick and mortar classrooms are absolutely what serves our students best, especially our most vulnerable students. But there is no guarantee of safety right now for us, for them, or for their families. Until that changes, crisis distance learning is a temporary but necessary solution, and we must focus on delivering the best online learning we can. Teachers, educators, we have a unique role to play in the support of our most vulnerable students, including our special education students. There is a lot at stake for them, emotionally and academically, and our special education teachers are stepping up to do the best they can until it's safe to return to in-person learning. Last week, the LA Times ran a story that was misleading about UTLA's position on returning to school for smaller group populations. So I would like to correct the record now. UTLA is not opposed to a safe reopening of schools for a small targeted population of students. However, at this point, we're concerned about whether the district has the appropriate funding and resources to ensure the safety of our students and members. If the district thinks it is in a position to open campuses safely for this purpose, we're open to meeting with them on this very issue. It is unknown if the district has the necessary funding to purchase PPE and implement the safety guidelines that protect our students. Yet another reason we need to bring in more funding and to fight for Proposition 15. Safety is always a priority, and we should not act hastily to reopen for an economy that has historically failed our students and communities of color. As Lisa, a special education teacher at Van Gogh Elementary School, can attest, it takes a village, has taken on a whole new meaning for all of us. Her village includes her colleagues and her students' parents and caregivers. Lisa spent her entire summer collaborating with other special education teachers, forming learning pods and meeting via Zoom to share what works for students with special needs. Now with the school year underway, all of her students' parents are a part of a WhatsApp group messaging. She communicates with them daily and posts class schedules and assignments. Her aides are included in that group and may send reminders to have students return to Zoom class or answer quick questions about work. Lisa says that despite significant isolation, we are all in this together and we need each other's support more than ever. So let's talk about some other questions you might have, especially about breakout rooms and one-on-one assessments and norm day. We know there are questions about how to manage small group student breakouts on Zoom. When we were teaching in physical classrooms, breaking out into small teacher-supervised groups was just another part of our day. In our virtual classrooms, there is no way to abide by the policy to monitor each small group in a remote classroom. Contrary to some people's belief, educators can't actually split themselves up. We are also pressuring the district for guidance on one-on-one assessments that are an essential part of distance learning and monitor student progress. Make no mistake about it. We believe breakout groups and one-on-ones have to be essential elements of an effective distance learning program. But the district has refused, despite our repeated demands, to provide a written policy as to how, whether, and when our members should do either. As a result, we now have to discourage you from utilizing these tools, and we will continue discouraging utilization of these tools until the district provides clear, written guidance as to how, whether, and when to do so. Now on to Norm Day. We know you have questions about what will happen on Norm Day, which is next Friday, September 18th. We know that enrollment numbers are down, especially in our elementary schools. But what we do not need now is further disruption by unnecessary displacements. We are pushing the district to minimize any further disruption for the continuity of learning during this time. We are thankful to members and parents who have been keeping up that pressure by contacting district officials, board members, and their local district offices. So that was this week's updates on crisis distance learning. The distance learning agreement is words on paper. We make them work for us and our students when we enforce them, implement them, and organize around them at our school sites. You have the power in your UTLA chapter as colleagues and classroom practitioners to improve crisis distance learning or address issues not covered in the side letter agreement. Use your chapter meetings to discuss what's working and what's not, and formulate a plan to address issues or push back on unreasonable directives that are impacting teaching and learning. And now we move on to one of my favorite parts of these updates, when we give a shout out to the amazing chapter leaders and CAT members who are rewriting the rules of organizing and building power in our virtual world. I want to give a shout out to all of the mental health itinerants who are meeting students' social and emotional needs during this unprecedented time. Thank you. Especially to the North Area Marshall High team. So let's stay in North Area for a few moments and lift up Roy Ball Learning Center. Their principal deliberately redid all of the student schedules so that the students there would have at least one Black teacher. They're doing some very intentional work to break down barriers and build community with our babies. As we continue to do this work, let's remember that racial justice is educational justice. And we as educators, using the standards, can create the curricula that affirms and uplifts our students. So Hazel, continue to use the 1619 project. Lupe, still teach ethnic studies and the Azatlan, and folks that are teaching Black Lives Matter in schools. Keep up the great work. Don't back down. Let's look for more opportunities to learn, grow, and have those courageous conversations. Reach out to me and let me know what you are up to, because I want to know. You all are simply amazing. And to wrap things up, educators, thank you for going above and beyond for our babies. I am proud to know you, and I'm proud to stand with you. And to Miss Thornton, thank you for another fantastic week. Giovanni says, Texas must be proud of you because you are a special teacher. I have secretly seen the emails he sends you with his work attached. He is enjoying your class immensely. Thank you, and thank all of you educators doing so much for our babies. Have a fantastic weekend. Take a break, rest up. We are with you. We stand with you. Stay UTLA strong, because together we rise.